By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, and by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent. Reveal what is hidden, so we may transform it into light. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. In this reading, we walk the path of the dove and serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that help to shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Libra card. This is the adjustment card or the justice card. We had the same card that came out with the Aries reading. Okay. I don't know if there's a connection yet, but we'll see. This is somebody who is trying to weigh the options, trying to really give different aspects of their life the proper attention, okay? Trying to give everything a fair chance, trying to make choices from a place of higher wisdom and higher discernment, okay? Could be that right now you're in a period of kind of evaluating your life, seeing where we might need to make some changes, where we might need to shuffle some things around, reprioritize, kind of assessing like how much weight we're giving the different things in our life. Are we leaning too heavily into our career or not enough? Or too much into our physical fitness, but we're not really touching the rest of things very frequently, right? So it's kind of like how are we, what's the right word, apportioning our attention, our energy, our effort. Well, maybe our money too. Maybe we're trying to balance the books, balance the budget a little bit, okay? First position is called the station. Represents our sense of self. It's kind of how we see ourselves. It's what's occupying our mind, right? What is the central focus of our personality right now? And it's this idea of balancing, the idea of choices, the idea of evaluation, valuing, and apportionment, and assessing things. Okay, and so we have to wonder, where is this kind of balancing or adjusting energy really prominent for you? Where is it that you're focusing? Is this just on is it just the budget kind of thing? Are we trying to balance our work life and our home life, or public and private kind of thing? Where is it that we're in need of some balance or some adjustment in order to restore the balance? Okay? And how do our choices affect our world? The choices that we make have a profound effect on our experience of life. Okay. We need to put this card into a little bit of context. Remember, Taurus, you're not here by accident. Okay? Your guides want you to hear this message. Here we have a Queen of Pentacles. We have an Ace of Pentacles. You have a Two of Swords. You have a Princess of Swords. We have a Prince of Wands. On this side, we have the Death card. We have a Seven of Pentacles. We have a Princess of Wands and a Five of Swords. That's very interesting to me, because it feels as if we're realizing some things that have to, I think, kind of go out of our lives, right? When we're trying to make adjustments, right? We're looking to augment our life with more important things. We're trying to clear out space so that we can do more of the things that work, do more of the good things, right? The things that mean something, the things that add value to our lives. And in order to do that, we have to understand what needs to go away. Okay, and I think that's kind of what our kind of choice is right now. So in a way, your reading really does mirror the Aries reading. So I would watch the Aries reading if I were you, because the Aries reading was about how we're bringing something new of value into our life. Okay? And I think in order to do that, we have to clear some space for it. We have to make sure there's room. All right? Now, you were guided here to this reading by your intuition. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with our little octopus friend, the 8 of Pentacles right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end, so you do have to watch until the end. That card will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, well, put your prediction in the comments down below, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see the two major arcana energies. We're sort of evaluating things, and we're kind of figuring out what things to get rid of, right, with the Death card. What things are no longer serving us, how we're going to be evolving and moving forward, clearing space, letting the past be the past, and always be making this steady progress forward, okay? We have our fire. We don't have any water right now, and I think the water is important to kind of remember. It's important to keep in mind that we don't have it. So I think what we're trying to do is understand more in a practical way what things need to leave our life without taking too much account of how we feel about those things, right? So we don't want to feel the attachment to things, right? We had a bunch of water energy. It might be, I know I should get rid of this thing that I don't use anymore, but I'm so attached to it, I don't want to get rid of it, so I'm going to keep it, you know? And then we end up keeping everything, right? Because we just don't have the heart to throw anything away. And you know where that leads, right? We've all seen that TV show. And so I think that the water energy here is kind of, I wish we had a little bit of it, to be honest with you. Because I feel like we need to know how we're feeling about things as part of the data. Because right now you have, a decent amount of air energy, right? So we have the fire, we don't have any water, we have air, air, air. Even our Libra energy, the adjustment card, is a little bit of air, right? And of course we have our earth cards, 1, 2, 3 earth cards. So 1, 2, 3 earth, 1, 2, 3 air. It's thinking and behaving. Thinking and behaving. We're trying to be reasonable. We're trying to use our intellect guided by spirit with our higher wisdom and discernment in order to make choices that will, ultimately lead to us bringing new and better things into our lives. Okay? And I feel like we sort of have to, in a way, we've got to use our intuition here. And we've got to let spirit guide us in our choices. Okay? And so it makes sense we don't have too much of that water energy. So there's a little bit of water dealing with the Queen, because the Queen is kind of, how we feel about the past, and how we're sort of, in a deeper way, not just the emotions, but in a deep way, how we're feeling about things ending or things leaving our lives, or the, it's like, I understand I have to throw this thing out or donate it or recycle it. I don't want to, but I know that it needs to go. It's in a practical way, I know that it's got to go, even though my emotions are still kind of attached to it. So I feel like we have a little bit of that here. But this Queen is your second card, the battlefield. It represents kind of what is maybe blocking our path a little bit, but it represents the personal quest or the task, the field of our conflict right now. And it's exactly that, understanding the necessity for some things to be gotten rid of, for some things to, enter the past, some things to be in the rear view mirror so that we can make room for the new things. The Queens are all about endings. Okay, and I know that's probably not a common interpretation, but to me, Queens are always looking at the past in a particular way, to understand the ending of something so that we can transition into what's next. So we can make this a turning point from looking at the past to then looking at the future, right? And so it's a turning point. And all the Queens are looking at the past. The Queen of Pentacles is looking at the past and seeing the necessity, the reasonable, pragmatic, and practical wisdom that says, yes, this thing needed to end. There's no other way around it. It's just an expired piece of fruit. I can't eat it. As much as I wanted to eat it, as much as I felt like eating it, and I had this desire, I love the fruit, I want to eat it, it's expired. I can't eat it. It's rotten. It'll make me sick. So there's a really kind of physical knowledge here, very practical wisdom that says, it doesn't matter how much I desire the thing, I know that it doesn't need to be in my life anymore. Whether it's people, places, things, ideas, activities, habits, hobbies, doesn't matter. Okay? Whereas the Queen of Cups, perhaps, is so heavily involved in the emotions that every ending is just, I have to go through the feelings of it. I have to mourn the thing. I'm going to sit with this feeling, and it takes me days to make a decision because I need to sit with the feeling. I always use the analogy of the queens are all leaving a movie theater. It's a group of friends that went to see the movie together, and they're leaving the theater, and they all are reacting to the movie in a different way. The Queen of Wands is saying, where are we going to go for lunch? Where are we going next? Come on, what's next, right? Has really no concern for the movie anymore. Once the movie's over, it's over. Let's go have lunch. Let's go shopping. Where are we going? The Queen of Cups is talking about how the movie made them feel. Oh, that movie moved me. I'm really, I've got to sit with these emotions for a long time and understand how that movie made me feel and what sort of things are going on now inside of me. The Queen of Swords is, maybe trying to figure out the logical step, the sequence of events. Okay, so let me get this straight. He did that, she did that, they went this way, and that's why that happened. And kind of trying to see the linear progression of the movie, trying to understand it intellectually, right? But the movie's over, right? And the Queen of Pentacles is, maybe a little bit more practical than that, has left the movie and is kind of understanding, trying to appreciate the movie for what it was, and then is also thinking about, okay, where are my car keys, and what was the value? Well, what did I learn? Perhaps what did I learn from that movie? Even more practical kind of relationship with the act of going there and doing that, and then the movie ends, and it just kind of says, well, yeah, it was an hour and a half movie. Of course, it's going to be over, and now there needs to be, something else that I'm going to do. How am I going to get to my car? Where did I park? What am I going to do next? But there's still that lingering sort of, connection, right? Of course, the Queen of Wands doesn't have a lingering connection. Just wants it to be over. Doesn't like that liminal space in between, where the energy of the movie is still there. We haven't yet transitioned into what's coming next. The Queen of Pentacles is very practical. It's saying it's over now, okay, it's good, it was a fun experience, it was a good movie or it was a bad movie, but now it's over and I need to think about what I'm going to do next. And so we're looking at these different things, these different energies in our lives, and we're saying, okay, you know what, I'm not going to spend too much time thinking or feeling about it. I'm not just going to throw everything away, but I need to say, okay, does this need to stay, yes or no? What's the practical kind of benefit of having this thing around? What do I need to clear out of my life to make room for what's coming? It's very practical. It's like we're cleaning out the garage. And we don't want to just sweep everything away, in one shot, which kind of sometimes that's my vote. Just get rid of everything. We'll start over, And we're trying to see, am I going to use this for anything? Do I need this broom? Do I ever use it? Will I ever use it? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Okay. Maybe the Queen of Swords is trying to remember the story. Wow, how did I get the broom? Oh, remember, we were in that one hardware store a long time ago, and I said, I really like that green broom, and so I bought it, brought it home, and then never used it. And the Queen of Cups is kind of the similar thing, where we're attached to the thing. So I think the fire and the earth really are the ones that aren't so attached to things. They're just seeing the kind of either not seeing anything and just sweeping everything away, or is just kind of thinking of the practical need for something and using that as the basis of judgment. Anyway, this seems to be your dilemma right now. This seems to be how we're trying to clear out some energy from our lives, to figure out really with the Libra energy, the adjustment card, where I need to downsize certain things, where I need to maybe make some room, make some time, or make some space, right? Reclaim some energy so that I can apply it to different activities or different, people, or I can make room for some new thing that's coming in. And I think that's kind of the message here, is that there is this big miracle coming for you, and we've got to clear out space so we can be ready to receive it. It's kind of like you're going to have a house guest. You got to clear all the stuff out of the spare bedroom. They need a place to stay, So we have to we don't want to wait till the last minute and then just have to take everything out of the room and just stuff it in another room. We want to take our time to go in there and do it efficiently, but do it properly. Okay, so that's kind of the energy that we're feeling here. Down beneath the surface, we have position 3, the soul, right? It reveals our sort of unconscious, what's beneath the surface for you. And this is the Ace of Pentacles. We're sort of expecting something. We know that something is coming. We know that there's a new path, that there's a gift coming, and we need to make room for it. It's like maybe we don't know why, but we've been clearing some space out in our lives. It's because we're in anticipation of something, okay? And the aces are always like this, a new beginning, a fresh start, another step. It's a step in a different direction. It's something new coming into our lives. We're being given the gift of an opportunity. I think this is that big miracle that we know is coming. That thing, that new, whatever it might be, something's on its way to us. And so this is something that's whispering to you from inside that says, let's clear some space, let's make some room for the new thing, because it's going to get here any time now. And we want to make sure that we're ready, that we have the time and the space for it. Whatever it is that you really feel in your soul that you're ready for, whether it's the new relationship, whether it's the job, whether it's the financial success, whether it's the physical, health path, it's kind of like, I don't know why, but I feel like we've been packing our bags. And we've been kind of looking at things. Do I need this? No. Do I need this? Yes. Put it in the suitcase. That we've been getting ready for something. We don't know why. But if we really sit and feel it, we know that something major is happening. We know that there's this big, amazing event thing happening. This big miracle's coming. And we got to trust that feeling, because that feeling is urging you to do this preparation, this cleaning house kind of thing. This purging, whether it's of emotional energy, or physical, or whatever it is. I think it's all of the above. And sort of preparing for a journey. Maybe it's kind of as like we've been packing our suitcase. We don't really know why. I'm not planning on going on a trip, but I'm packing my suitcase anyway. Okay, because we know that I'm gonna need that bag. For whatever reason, I know that I'm going to need to have a packed suitcase very soon, right? Something along those lines. And so this is something that you feel is whispering from within, okay? And right now it may be rather vague. We may not know exactly what it is or what is happening or what's coming, but we can feel that there's some reason here why we're going through this physical process of getting rid of things that aren't serving us, things that aren't working, things that we don't need anymore. 4th position, the dwarf, right? It's called the dwarf because it's kind of small, it's getting smaller, it's in your rear view mirror, right? This uncovers sometimes what needs to be released. Yeah. And these are choices. I think part of your energy needs to reconcile with a lot of choices that you've made in the past, or the way that we've gone about making choices. Because again, the Libra energy here, the adjustment card, is all about how we're evaluating things in our life, how we're judging things, how we are seeing what holds more weight, right? What is more important? It's like you've got limited space in your life. So you're saying, do I bring limited space in the suitcase? Do I bring the hairdryer, or do I bring the electric toothbrush or the massage gun or whatever, right? Which one holds more weight? Which one do I value as being more important to me? And we need to kind of trust our intuition here, because we don't know where we're going. I don't know if I'm going to need the hairdryer or the I don't know, the ice cream machine. I don't know where I'm going, so I don't know which one I need. I got to trust my intuition. Okay, the higher wisdom and discernment, the practical wisdom, the practical understanding, that says it makes more sense that I bring the hairdryer. It doesn't matter where I'm going. It's kind of more universally useful, right, than the ice cream machine because, well, you know, I don't know. To me, I'd probably choose the ice cream machine, but of course I got long hair too, so I'm in the same boat. But the two, you know, is this idea of the choices, okay? The Queen is also, let's looking at the long and winding road that you've traveled in your life, all the ups and downs and the twists and turns of life. Okay, that's what the Queen is looking at. And so in essence, the Queen is looking at all of the intersections. The Queen's looking here at all of the twists and turns, the ups and downs, every choice we've ever made, the intersections, where I could have went straight or left or right. Maybe there was too much traffic left, so I went right. Maybe up ahead, the stoplight, or there's a train up there, so I ended up going in a different direction. Maybe the road was closed. Maybe I didn't like what I saw up ahead, so I turned a different direction here. And so I think that you're going through a process of really like reconciling the past, understanding your choices and why you've made the choices that you made, and kind of coming to terms with that, right? Letting go of all these choices, things that we have maybe thought, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And then it kind of doesn't work out, and we're just like, maybe I made a wrong turn. I think this is about us being okay with making wrong turns and understanding that it's not a reflection of our values, not a reflection of our intelligence. We made the best choice that we thought we would make at the time. It's kind of like you're going through your garage and you're looking at this pinball machine. You say, why did I buy a pinball machine? You know, what was that? Was just a really weird decision. I don't know why I did that. We're not going to be all that, we're going to have to try to let go of this, right? Because then we're kind of entering the Queen of Swords territory where every object has a story, and we're going to wonder, like, how did I get this? Where did it come from? Why did I buy it? Where the Queen of Pentacles is saying, do I still need it? No, I don't need it. Do I still want it? No, maybe I can sell it or whatever, right? It doesn't need to go in the suitcase. It doesn't need to come with me. It doesn't need to be part of my inventory at this time. Okay. So I feel like we're sort of letting go of, you know, the choices. We're letting go of any kind of guilt or even really honestly a sense of responsibility. We're just kind of saying, it's not my fault. I made the choice. It is what it is. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. What I'm going to do is make the higher wisdom and discernment. I'm going to make the right choice now. You know, even if I don't feel like I made the right choice then when I got the thing. I think we all have stuff like that in our house, right? Things that we bought and we're just, or we've acquired somehow. And we look at it and we think, gosh, why did I buy that? You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why it was in your life or how it got there. That's maybe a story for another day. I think right now your energy is about, what do I need to do with it now? What's the right thing to do now? Do I let go of it? Do I keep it here? Do I recycle it? Do I upcycle it? You know, and so this is kind of our past card. Now, the Giant here, right, is another air energy. It's position 5. It kind of reveals an impulse right now or a personal virtue, and to me, this feels like we're kind of we're clearing things out. You know, it kind of feels like we're doing some kind of busy work. We're investigating things. We're digging through things. And this is usually a card of curiosity. This is usually a card of kind of like, you know, having an opinion about everything sometimes. Okay. And this is kind of, this is empowering you to move ahead. The princesses are always dealing with the present moment. Right, the queens are trying to end the past. The queens are looking at the past and trying to understand why something is ending. Why do I need to get rid of that? Whereas the princesses, in a way, are just kind of doing that activity impulsively in the moment. Okay, making decisions, you know, without a lot of consideration. Okay, all the princesses, I should say, are very impulsive. Okay, so they are thinking and behaving without. They're sort of like they have a have a thought, or they come up with an idea, or they make a decision, and they immediately act on it. There's no reflection there. Okay? There's no reflection there. And I kind of feel like this is a little bit of a corrective or a preventative measure for our Queen of Pentacles, who may be sort of lingering too long on certain aspects of this process, right? Things moving into the past, things being cleared out, right? Moving forward from something. Because again, all the queens are dealing with how things end. And, the princess might be coming in and saying, just get rid of it. Okay. If we're not sure, then it's probably a no. Yeah. But the princess is also very curious, and is, in some ways, not being all that productive. It's kind of like you're trying to clean out the garage, and you're trying to do it with your kids, and your kids are picking everything up and saying, oh, hey, what's this? Where'd you get this? What's the story behind this, Or what does this thing do? And they want to play with everything and look at everything. It's like when I have a 5-year-old daughter, my wife and I, and when we try to get her to clean the room, or we're gonna work on the garage, we're gonna kind of get things together to donate or for the garage sale, and she wants to help, but really what she wants to do is play with everything. She said, oh, I remember this toy. I remember this old fire truck from when I was 2 years old. And she'll want to play with it. She'll want to hear this. And then we'll, of course, oh, I remember when we got that, fire truck at a garage sale. We've gotten a lot of her toys at garage sales. And so we'll tell the story, and we'll laugh about it, and we'll play with it for a while. And then it's like, oh, wait, we're supposed to be realize, is it useful? Do you still play with it? No. Do we have room for it? No, not really. Let's give it to another kid. Let's put it in the donation pile or something, right? And of course, there's that part of us that protests and says, no, no, no. And so I feel like this is kind of our dynamic, where we're trying not to get caught up in the story of everything, or the nostalgia, right? We're trying to just kind of look at things practically and say, let's stay on task, And I think that as a preventative or as a corrective, this might be a little bit of the other way around, that kind of says it's okay for us to spend a little bit of time considering what we're moving out of our lives, but let's not linger there too long. So it's kind of like your kids, the parents and the kids kind of have to keep each other on track, where the kids remind us that maybe we should kind of remember the story about the fire truck and laugh about it and play with it for a minute, but then get back on track. To not waste the whole day, but then also to not speed through the process too cold and too detached, right? So that we're not missing out on all those memories either, And that's one thing about the Queen of Pentacles, is that it could be very detached. And the detachment, again, it's kind of a good thing. We don't want to be so attached or cling to everything so much that we end up not doing any of the work. But we don't want to rush through it so quickly that we don't have time to really process the ending. Okay, so we're kind of we're looking at the practical aspect of it. And well, moving forward is the Prince of Wands. Now the Princess of Swords is, like I said, a very curious card. Okay, and it kind of, this position in the spread, it represents what we need to be, what we need to embrace. That part of us that we need to embrace. And I think that might be a little bit of that curiosity. Like looking at something and not just saying, do I still need it? Is it useful? No. Okay, it's out of here. But to be curious about it and to remember a little bit of the story. But we're making our decisions based on the practical, the usefulness of it. But it doesn't mean that we can't remember, oh, I remember when I got that. I remember when I was doing that. Or to think about, to be curious about what this thing is and where it came from. But the ultimate decision is going to be the practical. Do I still need it? Okay, and so that's kind of with the princesses, we don't want to let the princesses make the decisions. Okay, the queen's going to make the decision based on the practical nature, but it doesn't mean we can't, indulge in the story a little bit and indulge in that curiosity. All right, and now the next card is the Imago. This is the future step. This, I think, is whatever the new activity is. that this is like we're ready to embrace now this miracle that's coming. Whatever this amazing thing that's happening in our life, it's here, and now we've sort of we've transmuted all this old matter into new energy. So the next steps for you are going to be to start doing this, the new activity, to embrace what's coming next and to be free of all of this extra baggage or weight or the burdens of everything else that's in our life. We've now cleared the space out, and you can use it for what you need to use it for. You've cleaned out the garage. Now you're ready to set up the art studio, and so we get to work, we get busy doing that thing. And this is a fixed fire energy. This is saying like that the clearing of the space has been more or less completed, right, to a certain degree. And we're ready to now lock in on whatever this new activity is, feeling unburdened. So it's we've cleared out the guest room, and now our friend arrives, our house guest arrives, and we can just be in that energy. We're free from all these extra worries. Let's say, we're free to take full advantage of whatever opportunity is coming now. And I think that this is important. This might be relationships. This might be some kind of a creative passion. Might have something to do with money. It might be a new career kind of thing, or a new job opportunity. It might be a trip somewhere. It could be that there is a Leo person entering your life. And so we're preparing. We're getting rid of all the extra stuff we don't need anymore, and then this new person is coming in. Okay, and they may be a fire sign person about your age, maybe Leo. Path of the Serpent. Let's talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Your position 7. Oh, if there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. So, the persona, position 7, this is kind of our projection. This is our energy right now. This is, in a way, how other people see us. Okay? And I think the energy that it's kind of a general energy. And this is the card, the death card, of making this slow and steady progress forward. That it's kind of like people don't see you as really being all that nostalgic or being all that worried about the past. It's kind of like what's behind you is behind you, and you're moving forward. But we understand that we do have a lot of connections to the past, but people don't usually see that because you do a lot of housekeeping behind the scenes, right? People come over, the house guest comes over and just sees, wow, you have a beautiful home. Thanks for getting the room ready for me. They don't see everything that went on behind the scenes to clear the space, And so whatever this new activity is, if it is a new person, if it is a new job thing, it's kind of like you're fresh and you're ready to go moving forward into this. And people appreciate that because it's kind of like, let's say this is a new love relationship, a new romance. Now, put your pitchforks away. It doesn't need to be that. Again, there's no water energy here, so maybe it's not that, right? It's probably something that's more creative or more career or something like that, right? But let's say it is the relationship. You want to make sure that you reconcile your past relationships and as much of this other energy that we can so that when we're in this new relationship, we don't have a lot of these old things popping up that are going to sabotage this new relationship. We don't want to always be talking about our ex when we're with our new partner, that sort of thing. We want to project this image like the past is the past. I'm not overly connected to the past. I'm ready to move forward fully. There are no lingering issues here. It's like I'm good to go. Yeah. This is the card of slow and gradual change. This is the card of the nature of nature. The fundamental force of the universe is change, right? And this is that slow and steady progress that we're making going forward. And I kind of feel like this is that skinny part of the hourglass, right? Where the future's not here yet and the past is on its way out. And so this is that infinite here and now moment, right? The skinniest part of the hourglass. And so it feels like we are always reconciling and letting go of the past, trying to make good choices and the practical usefulness of what needs to leave our lives so that we can make more room for what is entering our lives. And this is not just one weekend a year. This is like every day. And the death card is, of course, Recyclops, right? The great recycler. And it's kind of saying that in every moment of our lives, we are recycling our past experiences into new energy. We are always in this mode of pulling our fire from old things to put that fire toward new things. Every experience that we've ever had in our life has led us up to this moment, to this infinite here and now. And our choices, that's really a very karmic thing. The choices that we make right now are creating the future as we speak. Every moment we're here, every thought, word, and deed is creating our future. Well, that's something that the Queen of Pentacles knows dearly, because the Queen is looking at the past and looking at all the choices and realizing that I am who I am today because of all the choices I've made in the past. Okay? So that means that every choice I make now in the present is creating who I'm going to be in the future. So we're understanding karma in that way, and so we're thinking, okay, there's a very practical reason why I'm making the choices I'm making now, because I want to have a say in who I become. I want to have a say in how this new relationship goes, or what happens in the future, or the way my life unfolds. I want to be a part of that. I want to nudge the river, right? Then the death card is saying that, we don't really have much of a say in how our life goes, ultimately, right? Ultimately, it's kind of out of our hands. We're along for the ride. But the Libra energy, the adjustment card, lets us know, and of course the dynamic between the Queen and the Two of Swords, is letting us know that we can nudge the river a little bit, that we can be co-creators of our destiny. It's not just everything's left to chance or left to spirit or left to karma. Say everything's karma, right? Well, that's kind of a good thing, because that means that we can start creating good karma by making the right choices now. Karma is nothing but cause and effect. The cause are the choices. The effect is who I am today. So therefore, it works the other direction too. That my choices of today are going to create who I am tomorrow. And that's a relief, which means that we're always capable of change. We are always growing and evolving and developing. And if we make the right choices, then we have a little bit of say in what direction that change goes. Yeah. So it's a simple concept, but I think it really makes a difference, right? Now, the next card is the Seven of Pentacles. And this position is kind of a shadow position because it represents your relationship or your things in your environment. The recognition of things that don't work are giving us this sort of whisper that something new has to emerge. That something new, there are some seeds that are planted here, and they're ready to sort of sprout and grow. But we've got to till the soil. We've got to get rid of the old stuff to make room for the new. So this, in other words, these are things in your life that aren't working anymore. This is a Seven of Pentacles card of failure, right? And things that don't work, looking around at the old toaster, looking around at that blender that doesn't work, the TV that's broken. Why do we hang on to this stuff? Why do we hang on to things that are broken? Do we think we're going to fix them? Are we emotionally attached to them? Is there some practical use to it? I think, well, maybe one day I'll turn it into a piece of art. One day I'll take it apart and fix it, right? We have to be very honest with ourselves about how this is an attachment kind of syndrome, that we're not able to let go of things even after long after they've passed their sort of use by date, right? And that's not useful anymore. These are things in our life that haven't worked out. And we need to be able to energetically let those things go. Stop wasting time on those things. Let's embrace what's coming next. Okay, so these cards, these positions of the spread are very, very important, and these are intimately connected, this position and this position. Okay? 3 and 8 are very, very important, all right? As are 5 and 9, okay? These are very connected. Of course, we have a princess and a princess. It's very, very impulsive. We don't want to throw things out just because it's fun to throw things out. We don't want to take new things into our life just on a whim or on an impulse, right? We have to do this sort of, we have to go through the process in order to the queen has to be the decider. We don't want to let the kids drive the car, right? The queen's got to drive the car. The Seven of Pentacles are things in your environment that are kind of bringing out this feeling in you, bringing out this idea of the Ace of Pentacles. It's kind of saying like, there are a lot of things that aren't working in my life, and that makes me feel like I need something new. I got to start a new path. I need to try something different. Okay. And so we know that there's something that's just about to sprout. We've got to make sure that we're clearing the soil and preparing the ground for this thing to arrive. And so sometimes the recognition that, okay, something isn't working, well, that means that I need to do something to, replace it with something that is going to work, something that is functional, something that is going to be a very, kind of practical, but also a deeply meaningful experience. Okay, so it's kind of like this didn't work anymore. Okay, well then let's just do something that may work. Let's try something else. Okay. And so this is that card of, so we planted a seed and that particular seed didn't grow. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means we just need to plant another seed, a different seed or a new seed. Okay. And of course, the next position 9, it's the Princess of Wands. It represents the fear, worry, and concern. This is the specter position. It's our anxieties. We don't want to be impulsive. The Queen of Pentacles is not trying to just frivolously end things and start new things, because this is a very impulsive card, impulse to behavior. That we have an impulse and we just act it out. And then when that impulse changes to something else, we abandon that thing and we do something else. And so we're bouncing from one thing to the other, leaving a lot of unfinished business everywhere. We're not trying to do that, right? Because that's not really closure. We're not free to start anything new, because, hey, it's like a kid who's all day going around the house and playing with different toys. But like, okay, you didn't clean up your mess from the last toy. You didn't put the other toy away, and here you are doing a new project, starting something new, playing with new toys or whatever. You got to clean up the old mess before you go make a new mess. Something we're trying to teach our daughter. You're playing with some toys. Well, just put it away real quick, then go play with something else. Because the Princess of Wands is all day long bouncing from one thing to the other, leaving a lot of unfinished business, not having the closure to properly end something before starting the new thing. And so this is our word. We don't want to be that way. And so the Queen is trying to be mature and responsible and have this higher wisdom and discernment that says, okay, I need to close off these things in the past before this new thing will get here. Whatever the new thing is, I don't know what it is, but it's not going to get here if I'm still tied up with all these other unfinished things and I'm just in this kind of impulsive energy. So we don't want to be the princesses, really, right? We want to understand that I'm feeling kind of done with these old things. I'm ready for the new things, sure. But we have to be responsible and drive the car, responsible. We don't want to let the kids drive the car, yeah. And so these positions are really, really strongly connected, like I said. So the fear of being so impulsive is leading to us maybe slowing down too much. But that's what I say about the Princess of Wands, right? That it's kind of like we have the stimulus and we have a reaction. What this card is saying we need to do is pause. We feel that we receive the stimulus or we feel the impulse. We need to pause. We need to buffer it. We need to wait. We need to count to 5 before we behave, before we respond, right? And so in other words, we're taking this fire and earth here. Princess is earth, right? Wands are fire, fire and earth. And we're splitting it apart. We're saying, well, I'm putting some space between it. Between that stimulus and my reaction, I'm putting some space. And what's the best way to do that? Well, to think about it. Think about what you're going to do first, right? Is what you tell your kid. Kid feels an impulse to do something. We say, think about it, right? Think about the consequences. Think about what you're about to do before you do it. Don't just be reckless, right? The problem with this card is that it's going to extend this thought process indefinitely until the impulse is long gone. until now I don't even remember what it is I wanted to do, because now I've put so much space in between, I've lost the fire. We don't want to lose the fire, but we don't want the fire to get out of control either, right? So I think that's a very, very important card, especially in the context of the rest of these here. The final position is the destiny position, and it's the position 10. It's a 5 of swords, right? It's a card of the thought process. It's a card of kind of changing our mind about things. And I think that's something that we're going to have to deal with. It kind of represents like the kind of the qualities that we need moving forward. The way that we have to examine our lives. We need like introspection. We need some thoughtfulness. We need to be somebody that can change their mind about things. And it's kind of, we need to not be so attached to our beliefs about things, you know. It's kind of asking the question, how do we align our thoughts and actions to what we want, what our destiny really truly is, what our highest potential is. But we have to be willing to question ourselves. Do I really need this? Do I really want this? Am I overly attached to something? Am I preventing the new from coming in because I'm so clinging to the old? This card is about self-examination. We see the tip of the pentagram here is pointed down, is pointed inward. That we're looking at ourselves, we're looking inward. We're asking ourselves challenging questions in order to kind of understand where I need to make changes and how I need to grow and how I might need to think differently or talk to myself differently or whatever, right? What do we have to do? What changes in our thinking do we need to embrace in order to fulfill our highest potential and to invite this miracle into our lives? Are we too self-deprecating? Are we too self-critical, right? What does our internal dialogue look like? Are we oblivious to ourselves? Do we ever challenge our own beliefs, our own attachments, our own decisions? Because that's what the Queen is really doing, is looking at the past and looking at these decisions, looking at things that are in our lives because of our past decisions and wondering, like, how do I need to make different choices? If we keep making the same choices, we're going to keep getting the same results, which seem to be not desirable. So we have to start looking and thinking in new ways in order to kind of challenge ourselves a little bit. Challenge what we believe to be true, challenge what we believe to be, practically necessary in our lives right now. Well, let's uncover the mystery card. Let's do this together, okay? This is position 11. This is the guide. And this reveals what Spirit is trying to tell you, your higher self, inner teacher, deepest wisdom. Shows the character qualities you must develop in order to walk the path ahead. I feel like this is going to be a card of discernment. I feel like this is going to be the card of questioning or maybe clarity. So we could be getting an Ace of Swords here. I kind of feel like it's going to be some water energy because I feel like we kind of need that. Maybe it's going to be a 5 of Cups to understand that there's something going on in the emotions that is keeping us kind of clinging to things that we know on a practical level. I know that this should be out of my life, but I'm clinging to it because of these emotional attachments. I kind of feel a 5 of Cups here. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, the Hierophant. Look at that Hierophant. This is your superpower card. And the Hierophant emerges as the voice of your soul's truth. It's kind of saying your higher self knows the right thing to do. Your higher self knows, right? The message here is for you to rely on your highest self. The Hierophant is, in this case, representing essentially your spirit guide. Letting the ego kind of step back and letting the intuition, letting your spirit guides, or your guardian angel or your higher conscience really make the choices here. Okay? I think in some ways we're purifying our mental and emotional areas, bodies, right? So that we can receive the arrival of the higher self. And we can look at this as being that miracle, like that we're setting ourselves up for the arrival of this higher wisdom and the miracle of this spiritual experience, right? And maybe even the Five of Swords is saying we've got to meditate a little bit more on things, that we've got to, maybe not in an active way, but because anytime we get a 5, right, we start looking around for the 4. So this might be saying that, look, we're having too many, there's too much going on in our mind, that we're thinking too much about everything, that we need to kind of trust in the higher power here to say, is this a practical thing? Does this need to be in my life? Yes or no? And trust in that energy. Maybe we're thinking too much about it. Every piece we pick up in the garage, we're thinking about it, weighing the options. Maybe we're telling the story about it. We're feeling kind of bad about the decision that we made. Why did I buy this? Oh God, this was such an impulse buy. And then we're kind of, we're debating with ourselves whether or not to get rid of the thing. We need to trust. We need to kind of let Spirit do it. We need to let the expert make the decisions. This is like you would call over that TV show that would come over to your house, and they would help you throw stuff away. Remember that show? I think it was called Hoarders. What are we hoarding in our lives, either practically or mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? And this is going to be now the producers of that show, the experts coming over and helping you get rid of stuff. Okay? But this is your higher self. And this is you, because Taurus, this is your card. This is your superpower card. So there's something in you that knows and is guiding you, and allow yourself to be guided by this higher wisdom. This is an energy in you that loves you, that wants you to do the right things. Allow yourself to be guided and trust in this higher power that is within you, whether it's your conscience, your pure consciousness, the Atman, whether it is your soul, whether it is the voice of God or goddess inside of you, whatever it is, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, you're being led. You were led here to this reading, and you're being led to clear space in your life because a miracle is happening. Something very, very good is coming into your life. We've got to be willing to get rid of everything that we don't need and trust in that process. Trust that if I clear out the space, something wonderful is going to come to fill that space. It's kind of in a very spiritual way. We have to empty ourselves out of desire so that we can be filled with the Holy Spirit kind of thing, yeah? So I think this is a wonderful, wonderful confirmation card. We got to trust the feeling here. Okay, we've got to really trust in that. Now, please let this message settle into your heart. Each card is a mirror. Each station is a temple of transformation, alternating between who you're becoming and the world you're creating. Remember that the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the pattern of possibility. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this reading has illuminated your soul path in any way, please share your reflections down below. Together we journey onward, ever upward, and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner, and there's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Taurus are on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.